I feel like you can live like a king in Thailand. I'm not just Chang Mai though. Like this is all over Southeast Asia, I think. Chiang Mai has just become so popular with nomads and it's so well set up for expats and nomads that it's really gotten a reputation now, which I think it deserves.
Welcome back to the Nomadic Abundance Podcast, slow travel tips and inspiration for living an abundant life abroad. So get ready for a story packed with practical tips and inspiring moments. But first, if you're new here, we're Joel and Michelle, the Wandering Hartz, and we've been traveling full-time since 2019. Now we're on a mission to help digital nomads, early retirees, and others to incorporate slow or even full-time travel seamlessly into your work or retirement life for a more abundant lifestyle. Our Nomadic Abundance members also get access to exclusive bonus content, including bonus episodes, along with a growing collection of ebooks and guides for slow travelers and much more. More on that later. Now on with the show.
Okay, so we are with our friend Ann Kelly today, and she is a travel blogger, and her blog is The Road is Life. So yeah, we just kind of want to have a sit down and chat with you. You do a lot of slow traveling like we do. Yeah. And you are also a solo female traveler as well. So if you kind of want to, just talk about how you got started travel blogging and kind of your whole travel journey so far.
Absolutely. So my travel journey started about 12 years ago when I decided to quit my job and leave everything behind in Canada and just book a one-way ticket to Thailand. And that's when I first started solo traveling. So I was traveling for many, many years and living in different countries before I ever started the blog.
Okay.
So I first started the blog in 2019, just before COVID. Yeah. And that's when I was, I was living in the UK at the time, and I was really, really curious about like how to make money online and live this nomadic lifestyle. Like this is what I was ultimately trying to achieve. So it was a long journey to get there, but it's happening now. So I can successfully say I've managed to achieve that dream.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, so your travel blog, how did you come up with the name?
So the name was inspired by like just living on the road and like just, traveling slowly. That's my favorite way to travel. And the road is life. It's more about the journey for me. Like, it's not about arriving at a destination. It's not about like tourism or being on a holiday. It's like the journey is part of the, experience. Like it is the whole experience. Right. It's the people you meet. It's the places you go. It's like just the random adventures that you find yourself in. Like that for me is really what it's all about. That's what I love about this lifestyle. So,
well, I think you're basically describing slow travel.
Exactly.
Right?
Absolutely.
The opportunity to immerse yourself in a place a little bit longer. Yeah. Kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit more and then
experience the culture.
Yeah.
Meet different people and connect with like-minded people who are also doing similar things like you guys.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Well, and that's something that's interesting because we get a lot of comments about people wanting to know how you connect with other people while traveling, because everyone seems to think that it's going to be this really, really lonely adventure.
But it's so opposite from that,
Right. And that's kind of what we found too, is that there's like everywhere we go, you run into other people that you can, from all walks, from all countries, where you can actually connect with.
Yeah.
And of course there's tools and groups and things like that can help you do that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like this lonely thing.
No. No, and I think like, for people who are looking into getting into solo travel, it's just like the first time you do it, it's always going to be scary, but once you start, you realize how easy it is to meet people. And you meet people and make friends in the most random places. Like I've met friends on planes, ferries, like train, honestly, everywhere I've ever gone, restaurants, bars, you always connect with people who are doing the same thing as you. It's like, it just makes it so much easier once you start.
Yeah.
It's just that initial, like getting into it. It's hard for some people.
And so as a female solo traveler too, I know there's going to be a lot of people that are kind of concerned about that with safety and things like that. Do you find that, or in your travel so far, have you, is that something that's forefront on your mind or is it something that you're comfortable?
I mean, safety wise, you always want to research a little bit before you go anywhere. And like, it's just about researching the place before you go. and just always being aware of your surroundings. I don't like to walk around in the middle of the night anywhere. I don't like to get drunk, because doing these things is going to put you in a vulnerable place as a solo female traveler. Like you just got to be, I think using your common sense it goes a long way. For some people, I don't know, I don't know where I was going with that, but just using your common sense is huge when you're in a different country and overseas. Don't do anything that you wouldn't do at home, you're not invincible just because you're in a different country. So
right. Yeah. So what you're saying is it's really not that big of a deal.
Not at all. And I have never felt unsafe actually being overseas in all my years of traveling, which is 12 years now. And I've never felt unsafe anywhere I've been.
So, Anne, let's talk a little bit more about some of the different ways that you've connected with other people while traveling.
Yeah, so I have met amazing people through group trips. I recently just did a 10-day sailing trip in Greece, and it was just myself and 3 other solo female travelers on board the sailboat, and it was incredible. It was one of the best experiences I've had actually as a solo female traveler.
Well, that's awesome because I'm a huge sailing fan.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was incredible. So group trips, I have done several trips through G Adventures. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that company, but this is a really great adventure travel company where you can just join at any tour, any country in the world, and as a solo traveler. And that's sort of what it's, directed at, solo female travelers or guys as well. Okay. And you don't have to plan the trip. You just basically join and you're going to meet a whole bunch of new people.
Okay.
And experience, together, which is awesome.
Very cool. And how long are those trips usually?
It's typically between a week, anywhere between a week and a month even. You can do 30-day trips. Okay. So it's just the whole range. You can do really active trips with tons of hiking or, just general traveling around. I did China one year. So I traveled all around China with a big group of people, which was amazing. So yeah, that's one of my favorite ways to meet people and connect with like-minded travelers. I also really like to do just day trips. So if you're not booking a group tour, just a day trip, book a boat trip, a boat cruise around, I was staying on Paros Island in Greece for a little while and I just joined a boat trip for the day and I met tons of awesome people. I was alone and then I left with a bunch of friends. So it's really just getting out there and putting yourself in the situation where you could meet other people who are doing the same thing as you. So,
and I think that's really good advice too, because I think a lot of times we if you are traveling again, you might be a little bit nervous or whatever. You're in a new place. You don't always understand the language.
Exactly.
You can't read the signs. And
it can be intimidating at first, but then you got to realize there's other people who are doing the exact same thing as you are, and they're just trying to find other people to connect with. Yeah. So if you know where to find these people, it becomes so easy. Of course, I mentioned meeting people randomly in transportation and restaurants and things like that. But I love doing group trips. I love doing day trips. Those are awesome ways to connect, I think, for me.
I want to say we've actually had the same experience with the tours.
Yeah.
Maybe doing some of the free tours or something like that.
Exactly.
Or we end up meeting. Great too. Yeah, we end up meeting people on those. Yeah. And a couple of those have actually have become very good friends of ours. Yeah. And we've actually met them again. Yeah. Later on in different locations.
This is what I love about travel the most, right? It's just meeting those, making connections with people from different countries, people that you would never normally meet. If you never left home, you'd never meet these people. And some of these people end up becoming your closest friends, which is amazing. Yeah. I love that.
I agree. Yeah. Or even just kind of putting yourself into different situations maybe that you wouldn't at home or in your home country. We're here in Bansko, Bulgaria, and our first time here, we went to the Nomad Fest. Yeah. And by going there, we met so many people.
All at once. Yes. Almost overwhelming, I think.
It was a little overwhelming at first.
Yeah. So conferences too are a good way. To meet other people. There are actually a lot of kind of digital nomad conferences set up. So that would be another suggestion, I think.
Yeah, and as when you become a nomad, there's also ways to meet nomads aside from solo travel, right? Because being a nomad is kind of different in itself. But I find just going places where you know there's going to be a lot of nomads, it's huge. Like I have connected with so many other nomads just being in Albania because I knew there was going to be a lot of nomads there. And then here in Vansko.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, essentially like going to some of the hubs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just immerse yourself in the places like where you know they're going to be. And as soon as you start to make friends, you meet their friends and then it just kind of snowballs, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that leads us into kind of, you've spent time in Asia as well, specifically Thailand.
Yes, I love Thailand.
Yeah. So, and you've been to Chiang Mai. Is that one of the reasons why you decided to go there as well?
I love Chang Mai. And I think Chiang Mai is so well set up for nomads and expats and even just solo travelers. It has really so much to offer, like culture-wise, food, and just an amazing scene. And it's also so affordable. It's one of the most affordable places, I think, in the world for digital nomads to stay. And your money just goes so far, you know? Mm-hmm. So I love it. I'll always go back to Chiang Mai.
well, we're planning on, finally getting to Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
It's been on our...
been yet? Yeah.
No, not yet. It's actually been on our list for, I think it was like 2017 or 2018. Yeah. And I first started seeing videos. I think it was Johnny FD.
Yeah.
And just watching videos from him. And then I think it was, so that was like, it first put it on my radar.
Yeah.
And we've been trying for 4 years now.
Really popular with nomads, and there's a reason for it. And I think you guys will be totally hooked when you try it out for the first time. Like I just love that you can get an apartment for a super affordable price, and you get a gym included. You get a swimming pool a lot of the time, and it's just within walking distance from all the best restaurants, the night markets. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that sounds like. It sounds like
paradise.
Our speed.
Well, especially for slow travel, because like we don't. When you're traveling slower, I feel like you're literally living in different places.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's nice to have some of those comforts.
Totally.
And again, that's I think why we're also advocates of slow travel instead of like constantly bouncing around all the time.
Absolutely.
Is because you do have a semblance of a schedule.
Yeah.
You're not like, for instance, like whenever we're doing a lot of fast travel, you don't have a chance to say like, stay physically fit or whatever, like find a gym or
getting
even
work done.
Getting work done, or you just like the stress level is higher. And so you're trying to squeeze in, like I got like 3 hours and then you're trying to get work done, but then you're not, you can't think about the work because
definitely, I've fallen in love with slow travel, and it's my favorite way to travel. I just feel like you get so much more of the experience. Like you can experience the place so much deeper. You really get to try out all the restaurants. You get to, instead of just skimming over the top, like just going to a new city and just trying the top rated restaurants and then leaving again. Like you get to just try everything, a little bit of everything, and not just restaurants, but the sites, day trips, and like meeting people.
Yeah.
It's a lot better. I love it.
And so with Chiang Mai, in that regard, so you think it's a really good place for slow travelers?
It's like, it's one of the best, I think, in my opinion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Especially for online, remote workers. Like there's so many like co-working spaces there too.
Right.
Which are really, really great. Like they're awesome and just set up for productivity, I think.
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what we're looking for, or what we look for in places that we like to travel to.
Yeah.
So what is your kind of sweet spot then for solo travel? Because we kind of have ours, but everybody has a different, kind of how long they like to stay.
Yeah. So for me, that's anywhere between 1 month and 3 months.
Okay.
And especially in Europe, like, I mean, being in the Schengen zone where you only get 90 days out of 180 days. Yeah, I really do only get like 3 months in the Schengen area and then I gotta move on. So that, leads you with a few options. In the Balkans, for example, like Albania, I've spent a lot of time in Albania because it's so easy to it's not part of the Schengen zone.
Right.
So you can just jump in there. You get 90 days as a Canadian. I know Americans get
a year. Yeah, we get a whole year.
Yeah.
But then there's also Turkey, which I haven't been to yet, which I will be trying that out next. Oh, yeah. So that'll be my first time in Turkey, which I believe I get 90 days there as well. So
We'll have to check back. We'll have to
Yeah,
check in with you and see how that is
Yeah.
at a later date.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the same for us too.
Yeah.
We think usually 1 to 3 months is
Yeah.
usually a good pace for us.
Yeah, it
I
allows you
think.
to settle in and really just experience each location at a slower pace. Like you don't need to fit all the sites into like 5 days, which I just find that so exhausting.
Yeah.
Like you're waking up at the crack of dawn to hike a mountain, and the next day you're jumping on a boat tour and you're spending the whole day out doing things. And then by the end of your time, you're just so tired and like,
I mean, it sounds like,
overwhelming.
someone's average vacation.
Yeah,
you know?
which it is.
You need a vacation from the vacation.
Absolutely.
you know,
I remember
afterwards.
those days before I started
Yeah.
slow travel. It was definitely like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for us, we recently stayed in North Macedonia.
Yeah.
And it was, we stayed in one place for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I immediately regretted it.
Mhm.
You know, it's like we were thinking, well, maybe we'll just do 2 weeks and see how it goes. But then as soon as we got there, we realized, you know, because it takes a minute to get like settled into a place.
Yeah.
You know, finding everything.
Yeah.
You know, with ATMs and the banking and all that kind of thing.
Getting SIM cards,
SIM
and figuring out the
cards.
currency. There's that
Right.
initial setup period that everybody needs when they
Right.
first arrive in a new spot, and it can take a few days to start to feel comfortable and like,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
you know, get your surroundings figured out. And yeah.
Yeah, and so that
Definitely
ends up eating into some of that
It
time.
does.
You know, in like this first 2 weeks, we spent like the first week trying to get all that stuff figured out.
Exactly.
You know, and so then
Yeah.
and then adding that into like your regular work schedule. It became, well, I mentioned this because we've actually been working on quick start guides
Yeah.
for people too,
Yeah.
to help kind of answer a lot of those questions and alleviate that. So,
Yeah. That's awesome.
if you're watching this, you might want to check our merch stuff, because we've got a few quick start guides that you can check out for a few of the places that we've been to so far. Now, before we continue with the interview, we'd love for you to subscribe to our channel and our newsletter if slow travel, living abroad, or travel tips pique your interest. We send that out once a week, and we promise it's worth it. You can just scan the QR code on the screen. Now back to the interview.
Okay, so let's talk about accommodations, because that is actually one of the questions that we get asked the most on our YouTube channel is, how do you find them? You know, the whole thing, like platforms.
Yeah.
So I know for us, like a lot of times if we're in Europe, we actually book on flatio.com, which has been really great for some longer stays and short stays for us as well.
Yeah.
We have booked through Airbnb, although we kind of try to stay away from Airbnb just because the fees can get so high.
Yes,
And
I agree.
it can be really hit or miss with
I
what
totally
you get.
agree. Yeah.
So kind of what is your situation?
I like to just start. I usually start with Airbnb just to see, you know, what is out there. And then I will often go on to blogs. I will start reading blogs from other solo travelers or slow travelers, full-time travelers. And often that will guide me to like Facebook groups. So this is one of my favorite ways to actually find accommodation is Facebook groups, because you can just basically type in expats in Chang Mai or expats in Saranda, Albania. And then you're going to be able to connect with locals who are, you know, offering much cheaper accommodations, especially for long-term. Like this is more for long-term travel. Like if I'm going to stay at least a month in a place, this is the way I would go. I'd like to check Airbnb just to see, because sometimes you can find really reasonably priced Airbnbs. But lately I've been finding all my accommodations on Facebook groups, and it's been working really well. And oftentimes I get really nice apartments for much less than you'd pay on Airbnb.
Yeah.
So that's how I like to do it. But if I'm only going to stay in a place for a couple of nights, it's going to be booking.com usually. That's probably what you guys are doing as well.
Yep, that's pretty much,
Yeah. But yeah, reading blogs is so helpful. Like just blogs written by other nomads who have already been there and had to go through the same process of like hunting down apartments. This is the way I like to do it.
It's also helpful to find like location, or what part of town you might want to be in too.
Yeah. And you get so much information just from people who've already done it, which is the best way. This is the best way. Like you get this, you know, firsthand information, and I don't need to waste more time like researching it online. Like I just get straight to the point. Oftentimes they will have links directly to Facebook groups where I can just join the group and then start, like, you know, I might post something in the group saying, hey, I'm coming to Bansko, Bulgaria for a month. And then you'll get like the owners, like, you know, popping their comments in there. And then I get a list. I got like a big list to like sift through, and like, you know, it's been great for me.
That's nice when they come to you.
It's awesome. Yeah. You can just browse through the groups as well. So yeah, this is like the way I normally do it for like slow traveling, long-term traveling. Sometimes I do book Airbnbs like you guys as well, but most of the time I don't. So
no, I think that's great. And we've done the same as well, especially on this trip. It's been booking directly with landlords. Albania.
Yeah.
And then back here in Bulgaria.
Yeah, although Macedonia, well, we did 2 other stays so far on this leg of our trip this year that have been not with landlords.
Yeah. So Airbnb. I think if you're going to do like below a month, under a month, Airbnb is pretty good, right? I think, or booking.com even, like you can find decent.
We usually do booking for that.
Yeah.
Because you can, again, if it's not a hotel, you know, if you're only going to be, it's a transition, right?
Yeah.
When you're going from
A to B, stop in one place for 2 weeks.
Right. You might, or even just a couple of days.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we've done that because the cancellation is always better on booking as well. Airbnb's
this is a good one as well. Yeah.
Cancellation is, I mean, it's usually really bad.
Like a month.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you have something happens and you book your travel.
Yeah.
And then you have no recourse there.
Yeah.
We've actually had that happen to us.
Yeah.
I think we're going to probably do a lengthy video about it.
Yeah.
But it cost us a ton of money where we had an incident like that where we had to book or cancel last minute.
Yeah.
And
you lose out.
Yeah.
Quite a lot sometimes, which is not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then also too, I know it varies a lot as well on the destination.
Yes. Absolutely.
So like booking places in Europe can be a little bit different than Asia.
I think so. Yeah. For example, like with Chang Mai, it's, I found that there's just a different variety of places offered. Like it's more like staying in hotels there. Like you get room service, which you don't get in Europe, right? So you get the same price, like an apartment for the same price, but you get like room service, housekeeping twice a week sometimes, like included for the same price that you would pay for an apartment in Bulgaria or Albania. And this is another reason why I love Chang Mai so much. There's just like so many little things that makes it amazing for me. For anybody.
I mean, it sounds awesome. Yeah. I love housekeeping.
I mean, I didn't have to lift a finger when I was there.
Again, that's almost like, so you're saying basically you can almost get like kind of a luxury.
Yeah. That's how I felt. Like
lifestyle.
I feel like you can live like a king in Thailand. I'm not just Chiang Mai though. Like this is all over Southeast Asia, I think. Chiang Mai has just become so popular with nomads and it's so well set up for expats and nomads that it's really gotten a reputation now, which I think it deserves. So, yeah.
And then what about, so for Asia, you've traveled, you said it kind of extensively through Thailand, correct?
Yeah.
So then what is different, booking accommodations there than, in Europe? I know you said that you like to get there, like in Thailand.
Yeah, in Thailand. Yeah, I was reading a lot of blogs in Thailand from nomads that have lived in Chiang Mai, and oftentimes they would list like just all these different apartments that cater to expats and nomads. And I made a list and I just, went around the city and just checked out the rooms. I think that's really important in Asia is to see the room, test out the bed, because I mean, beds in Thailand can be very hit or miss. You don't want to commit to a month stay when the bed's going to you're going to feel sore when you wake up the next day.
Yes. You can talk about that. I mean, we've had this
ruin your stay.
Absolutely. I have had this experience in Thailand where I didn't test the bed beforehand and I had to move because you can't really, it kind of ruins everything if you're waking up feeling sore in the morning.
Yep.
And then also just checking out the Wi-Fi, the bathroom, just just being able to see it, I think is really important. And it's easy to do in Chiang Mai. It's easy to just take a grab or a taxi around from A to B. Just spend a couple of days and just check out each place and make sure that it ticks the boxes that you want. And that's what I did. And that's what a lot of other nomads do. So
I think you brought up two important things, and then of course, especially if you're working while traveling, like we do, and I know maybe part of our audience does that. Some of them are maybe like early retirees.
Yeah.
But Wi-Fi is hugely important. You know,
it's a big one in Thailand as well.
In addition to the bed that you talked about, we've had so many experiences where the beds have been like okay. And like even on this trip, we've had a couple beds that have not been the most comfortable. And you know, some places you might be able to find some kind of a padding or whatever.
I think in the cities, that's not a problem. But if you're like maybe on a smaller island in Thailand, it's hard to find. In Chang Mai, for example, that's probably not an issue. You can definitely find these things. There's like shopping centers there and malls. Easy, right? It's not a problem. But if you're in a remote island, for example, like that's maybe not an option.
And it's also a cost. So it's an added cost as well. And so depending on what that was, for instance, in Albania, our stay in Albania, the bed wasn't the best bed. And so we looked in town for an option, and we did find one pad, but it was like 8,000
right
or 80,000 lek. So it was $80.
That adds a significant cost onto your monthly stay. So your rent just kind of jumps up because you need to go and buy extra stuff.
Which is or you could just look at a different place. And maybe the other place is $50 more, $60 more. Or even if it's $80 more, it's just worth doing that sometimes instead of.
I completely agree. And that's one tip that I would tell everybody now. Check the beds. Check the Wi-Fi. Even check the showers, because the showers can also be. I've had some like really like bad showers. I don't know. Like people don't think about that when they're booking a place. You just assume it's going to be like, you know, high pressure, or like if you don't want your shower hanging directly over the toilet. This is a common thing in Thailand. So I don't know. This is important for some people, and
like a wet room.
Exactly. So I found a place in Chiang Mai that didn't have that. It had a proper closed off shower, which was nice. It's just the small things that make your stay that much better, right?
Exactly.
I think that's really good advice. So before we finish this up, I wanted to make sure that we give you an opportunity to tell people like how they can find your blog and get in touch with you, or what you're up to.
So you can find me at theroadislife.com or The Road Is Life on Instagram. And that's where I share a lot of my itineraries, my tips for solo traveling. That's where you can find me. So come join me there. That would be great.
Awesome.
Very good. Well, so we've got a couple last questions here for you. So we're going to kind of maybe do real quick, some maybe kind of rapid fire stuff here.
Let's do it.
Starting with like, so far in your travels, what is your most favorite place that you've been to?
So I would say in terms of countries, I would say Thailand. It's definitely my top, like number one, and nothing has come to that, level so far. So Thailand for me, I would have to say is my top. It's amazing for travelers and nomads, and everybody loves Thailand. You guys haven't been yet, but you're in for a treat.
I know. Can't wait to go.
We'll be there shortly.
I can't wait to follow you guys there.
Yes.
That's where I would always go back. I always find myself going back to Thailand, no matter what.
Okay. All right. Well, we look forward to getting a chance to always go back too. So.
Great.
All right.
I'll
so we got another question. So we all there's a lot of tools. So like, are there any specific, we'll start with apps, like any specific apps that you just can't travel without?
So I would start with Google Translate. Like this app is so useful on a daily basis. And especially like the feature where you can turn on the camera and like hold your phone up to a completely different language. Like I can't travel without this app. So that's probably the number one app I use all the time. But then just general like booking.com, we all use that. Momondo for searching for flights. That's one of my favorites. Skyscanner. Those are all really great. And then Airlo for the eSIMs. I use that very often as well. So, and then if you're traveling with a friend, I love Splitwise because that allows you to like track all the costs. So like if you're traveling with a friend and you're, always eating dinners together, you're, paying for entry fees or accommodation. You can just track it so easily. And it also has the currency, which I love. Like you can change it to like the country's currency that you're in. So it's a no-brainer. Like you don't need to, keep track of it in your head anymore, which is awesome.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, that's really
I use that all the time.
Okay.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, definitely recommend it. I mean, you guys probably don't need it, but if you're traveling with people long term and
well, often we go to dinner with other people.
Yeah.
And sometimes you split the bills or whatever.
Yeah, it simplifies it. It simplifies it for sure. I love that one.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll ask one more like kind of like products. Is there any like physical like products, suitcases or anything like that you just
like I can't travel without my like portable, charging device. I feel like everybody needs one of those just to charge your phone on the go. Any other little devices that you carry around that you kind of need. Like we are so reliant on our phones these days when we travel. So we're taking photos with our phones. We're looking at, places to eat. We're booking accommodation. If your phone dies, like you're kind of screwed, right? You gotta have your phone. So that is one thing you gotta always have.
Okay.
I like having my tripod, like my phone tripod. So like if I'm traveling alone, I don't need to ask strangers to take photos for me or like film videos. Like I have a little remote and it's so easy to just like pull it out of my bag and set it up. So I love that. Can't travel without that. And my drone, of course, like I love having a drone just to be able to get a different perspective of where I am and love that. But yeah, those are my like top things that I would use all the time, every single day.
Okay.
That's cool. And definitely check out your drone work because it's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, on Instagram,
So when you're traveling, everyone's always wonders like, well, I can't be without this or I can't be without that for a while. So I guess it's like two parts. So first part, is there any specific items that you miss that you don't have access to during your travels?
I think it's just those like comforts of home. Like when you're always on the go, like you do sacrifice having like a really nice and comfortable bed, your own bed.
Okay.
Like there's something to be said for your own bed. And you don't get that when you're always traveling. Like you are in random beds all the time. So that's one thing that I do miss, of course. But then, having like consistently good Wi-Fi is a huge one, especially if you're working online. Like this is something that it's hit or miss depending on where you're traveling. It can be really good and really bad, like as you guys know.
Yeah.
So those two things, it can be hard sometimes.
Okay.
But I'm willing to give up these things to be able to live and travel like on the road all the time. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And then of course, is there anything else that you miss from home?
I mean, the people,
Yeah.
You can't replace the people. So like you always meet people traveling and you make friends, but you're never going to replace family and like friends from home. Like that's why I always like to go home at least once a year to just like reconnect and spend Christmas with family. I think that's really important. So I've been trying to do that at least once a year. The last couple of years during COVID, I was stuck in Australia, so I didn't get to see them for a long time, but I do miss the people. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. Spending long periods of time on the road.
Yeah, for sure. I miss my friends.
Yeah,
a lot.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, you meet people when you're traveling, which is amazing, but it's not the same, right? Like, yeah.
So if there's anybody watching this and they're contemplating, should I slow travel?
Yeah.
Should I do this? Or, maybe they're still on the fence. They have like some anxiety about it, or they're
being alone on the road.
Is there any what would you say to them?
I think everybody has a little bit of anxiety before they take their first solo trip, especially as a solo female traveler. Like you can really you can make it more of a big deal in your head than it actually is. And I think it's one of these things you just have to try it once. Even if you take one small trip away in your own country just to see how you feel, you're going to realize it's actually a lot like easier than you ever expected. So I think that for me, I think I was really scared the first time I went overseas alone. Like I was terrified, but as soon as you start meeting other people, connecting with other solo travelers, like it all becomes worth it. It was the best thing I ever did. So I would highly recommend to anybody who's watching this to just do it. Like don't let fear hold you back. We only have one life. We only get one chance. Like just go for it. It might change your life.
Well, I think that's fantastic advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
thanks for having
being
me.
here and sharing with us.
Yeah.
It's been great.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anne.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Our Nomadic Abundance members get access to an exclusive bonus episode. You can get all the insider info you need, along with a growing collection of ebooks, resources, and guides for slow travelers. Just go to nomadicabundance.com to sign up. And of course, don't forget to check out the show notes where you can find links for everything we discussed in the episode. Finally, show your support for this project by liking and sharing the episode or buying us a glass of wine. Until next time, happy wandering.